Joining me now is Ann Kim. She is a contributing editor for The Washington Monthly and the author of Abandoned, America's Lost Youth, and the Crisis of Disconnection. Ann, I thought your article was fascinating. You explain how many tax preparation companies are taking advantage of low-income Americans. Why should, in particular, people who might be eligible for earned income tax credits be wary when they're looking for somebody to help them with their taxes? What in particular should they be looking for?
Sure. Well, the Earned Income Tax Credit is actually the federal government's largest anti-poverty program. Last year, the federal government issued about $60 billion in refunds to low-income Americans. And that is just a huge amount of money, right? So when you have that amount of money, you're going to have a cottage industry, actually not even a cottage industry, a pretty large industry that is poised to try to harvest as much of that refund as possible. So if you're a low-income person and you still haven't done your taxes yet, I would be wary of the pop-up places that you might see in a shopping center somewhere, or maybe some of the chains that are promising fast cash, because the fees that are going to accompany this fast cash are going to be very, very high.
You also explore how some tax preparation companies are partnering with retail companies that I wouldn't have expected. Like, in particular, you start off by talking about these used car dealerships that suddenly have tax preparation services being offered there, and a lot of reasons why people should be very skeptical of those. Tell us about the disadvantages of using shops like those.
Oh, right. So I start out in my piece talking about this chain of used car dealerships that are pretty much all over the South called CarMart. There's 150 of them. And there is a company called TaxMax, which works with about 3,000 dealerships nationwide. And what they do, if you think about it, buying a car requires a down payment, a lump sum of money. And the tax time is a perfect time to try to get lower income people who may not have that lump sum in hand. So what they do, these places, is come inside and get your taxes done here. And while you're here, you can use your refund to pay the down payment. It's kind of a genius scheme, actually, on the part of the companies to think of this, but it's really bad news for customers. So when I called a CarMart in Rogers, Arkansas, just as a potential customer to see how much the fees would be, the saleswoman told me that I would be paying about $319 in fees. That's $149 for the federal tax return, another $49 for the state tax return, and then there is a $93 bank fee, and in addition to that, a $27 check printing fee. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if there were a few more fees that were added on. All of that adds up to about 15% of the average refund last year of about $2,200 for the average American.
So while the government is trying to provide this earned income tax credit to people to try and lift people out of poverty, to people making the least among us, these tax preparation companies, these predatory tax preparation companies, are charging so much in fees and their convenience that it ends up that people who really need it the most are not being benefited. I was amazed and surprised. I imagine a lot of people are too, that tax preparation is not federally regulated. And while there are some steps that you point out that have been taken, and we should also mention that the tax preparation company that you said was not the worst offender among all of them, but that there are so many different avenues that people can take to try and take advantage of people during tax time, especially since the tax code is just so convoluted and difficult. So what can Congress, lawmakers, and others do to improve the system?
Yes, Lana, you're absolutely right. The ultimate blame for why the predatory tax preparation industry exists is because the tax code is so complicated, especially at the lower end of the income scale. Understandably, Congress is concerned about fraud and errors, but what's happened is that the rules have become so convoluted about exactly who can qualify that people often feel like they have no choice but to find someone to help them. And as you pointed out, that person who is maybe helping them may have zero qualifications whatsoever. You have to be a licensed cosmetologist. You have to be a licensed, well, anything. But if you help somebody prepare their taxes once, you can hang out a shingle. You don't have to have any qualifications whatsoever. If you're just walking somebody through a paid software, you can charge them for that too. There are no rules to prevent that. There's no
infuriating, really. Like, people should be really angry. Very quickly, if somebody needs help doing their taxes, they qualify for EITC. We're telling them right now very clearly, you want to think twice before going to one of these one-stop shops and look at the fees. Where should people go? Where can they go to get assistance that isn't going to try and take a large percentage of their refund for themselves?
Well, there's two options. There is a free e-file option that is available through links on the IRS website. The better option is to try to find a VITA-site, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. And that is a government-funded program that gives money to nonprofit organizations with volunteer tax preparers. Those tax preparers, by the way, have had to pass a test. I was a volunteer tax preparer once, and I passed a pretty difficult test to be able to help individuals with their tax returns. But find a VITA site, sign up. Those services are completely free, completely accurate, and you will get 100% of the refund that is due to you without having to fork over some large percentage of it to someone who may not be looking out for your best interest.
And Kim, such a important and practical interview. Thank you for all of your tips. Appreciate it.
Much.